You know, this is probably gonna be hard to believe, but I was in therapy for a while. And, I remember one time the therapist said to me that the message in our culture is so strong to not be yourself, to, be perfect, that if a Maasai warrior king came to our country, that within a matter of days, he'd be saying, "Does this loincloth make me look too fat? Do I have body odor?" And it always made me laugh because it's so true. I mean, I feel like from the time I was 12 years old on, I got the message that I just wasn't enough. I
Mhm.
just wasn't enough. I wasn't thin enough, pretty enough, smart enough, all the, I call them the not enoughs.
Yeah.
And I mean, was that an issue for you?
Oh, Kathy, I spent so much of my life up until this point trying to trick people into thinking I was enough. I actually thought I needed to be more clever than them so they wouldn't realize how deficient I was. So I had to be the smartest one in the room or the cleverest one at a meeting so that people wouldn't realize that I was a fraud.
I, I met a woman once that told me that she had spent her entire high school years backing around the hallway so that no one would notice how big her bottom was. And I just thought, okay, that's just dangerous for one thing, walking around backwards all the time. But
But
I remember thinking that, like in bathing suit season,
yeah,
thinking, oh, if I stand this way, do my legs look thinner? Do I,
yeah,
that message to be perfect, I
yep.
think, is the leading cause of fatality.
Yeah.
Uh, I
And
think,
it's often around body image and body dysmorphia, but it's also around, are we smart enough?
yeah.
And at least it was for me. And I was competing in a business world for the next big job, sort of ladder climbing. And the evidence was I was really good at the job, but I couldn't let up because I was so afraid. Like I said, I felt like a fraud. And I know that other women feel this way. I know that people feel like they're pulling one over on the world.
I, I remember when your company laid off all the executives, and
Yeah,
I used to call your house, and you'd be like, "Welcome to Walmart. How may I help you?" And you'd be sitting there eating potato chips, and I got to remind you, you didn't get stupid overnight.
yeah,
They just laid off the executives. You were still
yep,
who you were, and
yep,
I think sometimes we don't even realize who we are. I mean, that's what I took that workshop. This is a long time ago now, because you never know what it is that you're giving off.
yeah,
And after the workshop was over, what I found out I was giving off, and I guess I've always known, is that I'm from the Midwest. Like the guy who led the whole workshop said, if they were going to do, like, if they were casting Lady Ophelia and they cast you, Lady Ophelia would be from the Midwest.
yeah,
And I thought, oh, that's it. Uh, you can't hide who you are, so you might as well just embrace it,
yeah. And
be
so
it, enjoy it.
we can't hide who we are. Then why do we try so hard to be somebody else?
It's that message, that whip
Yeah,
snap message that you're just not enough. And again, even with the amount of diversity that there is now in the world, in the media, even that, like, sometimes I think, oh, I'm not ethnic enough. I mean, God knows I'm just like a hunk of white bread from the Midwest. And but that's just who I am, and
yeah,
I don't hide that anymore at all. But I think it's so important to just sit down and be quiet for a minute and say, I love who I am,
yeah,
no matter what.
yeah,
And also, the mistakes. I mean, think about all the things that you did
Oh,
to try and, again, razzle dazzle, don't pay attention to
oh
the woman
yeah.
behind the curtain, but all the things that you did, and the pressure that put on you.
Yep. And the years and years and years of being unhappy with myself because I couldn't quite squeeze into the perfect embodiment of who I thought I should be.
I think that's it. The
You know,
wasting all that time
yeah.
that we did trying to be something we were never going to be, but thinking that we needed to be that.
In my last corporate job, my second to last corporate job, I went out and I bought myself a very expensive designer suit because the CEO of the company was a fashionista and he noticed what brands people wore. And I wanted him to see me as a serious contender for vice president. And so I overspent inordinately on this designer suit and had it custom tailored so it fit me like a glove.
Hmm.
I did become a vice president, but
Yeah. And did that make you happy? And do you still have that suit?
it, you know, I almost I don't regret buying the suit, but I regret caving in to the really superficial needs of a very superficial CEO
Yeah.
who didn't see that I didn't change one bit before and after that suit. I was still delivering on the goods in my department, no
Hmm.
matter what I dressed like.
I think that's what happens though, because I mean, I've certainly been in workplaces where the boss or bosses were people that you wanted to approve of you,
Yeah.
to like you, and and I have done things. Luckily, I was never in a profession where I had to wear a really nice suit or anything, and my label was always like Target or Walmart. So and everybody knew that, or LL Bean, like
Yeah.
this jacket. But I think that I think about how happy I am now
Yeah.
that I there's nothing that embarrasses me.
Yeah.
There's if someone were to judge me and roll their eyes at me about something, of course I'd be like, "Oh." And then for me, the enlightenment, the recovery is I go, "Well, too bad for them because I'm pretty amazing just the way I am." And if I think that when you're yourself, you attract people who like you
See,
and
that's it. I mean,
like you the way you are.
that bing, 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 that's spot on the nose. I mean, we're like that. When
Yeah.
you encounter someone who's genuinely comfortable in their skin and happy with who they are,
Mhm.
they're so magnetic. You just want to sit down and have lunch with them. You want to talk to them. You want to get to know them. Um, and I think that's why people want to get to know us because we're genuinely happy with who we are at this moment in our lives.
Yeah.
So, more of that and less of the people
Yeah.
who need us or we think they need us to be somebody else.
Yeah, because it's too late for me to be somebody else. I am just completely and totally going to be me, and
And
I expect the same of you.
I do. And I just have to say, I love LL Bean
Yeah,
more than I love Prada these
I,
days.
I know. I love a good corduroy jacket, or maybe they call them shackets now.
Ooh.
I don't know. Do you have a shacket, and are you content with it? Let us know. We're always interested. So, thanks for listening. Bye.